Good afternoon and welcome to the Iowa City Foreign Relations Council's program featuring our panel speaking on the topic of a conversation with the Mandela Washington Fellows. My name is Sunday Goshit and I am an ICFRC board member and I'm your host for today's program. Privilege. We're deeply grateful for the long-standing support from our community. Many who are with us here today. Your help has allowed our organization to grow for over 40 years. You remember we celebrated our 40th anniversary this year, hosting speaker programs with experts joining us in person and online from across the world. As a small nonprofit, we exist because of the generosity of individuals like you. We also extend our heartfelt thanks to those joining us virtually or watching this program broadcast online or City Channel 4. You are all an integral part of our broad, interconnected community. I hope all of you would consider making a financial contribution today by scanning one of our QR codes in the room or visiting our website, or maybe just checking out with anyone who has something like this, one of our board members. These free programs are only possible because of your support. And finally, thank you to our sponsors and community partners for their support. In particular today, we recognize the UI Institute for International Business, as well as the Iowa City Public Library for their partnership and for the refreshments served today. The Iowa City Foreign Relations Council has adopted the Native American Land Acknowledgement prepared for the City of Iowa City's ad hoc Truth and Reconciliation Commission and Human Rights Commission. ICFRC recognizes that our home community of Iowa City now occupies the homelands of Native American nations to whom we owe our commitment and dedication. And the full text of ICFRC's acknowledgement is on our website at the Iowa City Foreign Relations Council, icfrc.org. And that by way of introduction, we'll go into why we are here. And we are very, very privileged, as every year, to have the business school give us the opportunity to collaborate with them in having this wonderful panel of amazing people from my continent, Africa. I would go ahead and start the panel discussion with these four. We have decided, along with them, that it is best for them to introduce themselves as panelists. And so I would go ahead and start with the person closest to me.
Good evening to everyone. So I am Percy Fonge. I am a Cameroonian and of course a 2024 Mandela Washington Fellow and proud. I am passionate about empowering farmers for the objective of improving lives and contributing to the rural poverty in Cameroon, like in Africa as a whole. I manage a firm called the Farmer Ventures, which has been investing in the area of bridging gaps for agricultural investment and contributing to solve the value chain disorder that exists across our agricultural systems. I have a background in agriculture with a master's degree in pathology, and our work basically contributes to helping people like Mary, a 46-year-old farmer who has 3 kids she can barely send to school, who, unlike their counterparts, are working in the farms day and night and are therefore not competitive on international platforms like this. I had the opportunity to have a good education, and when I turn back and look at Mary's kids, who cannot speak any language other than their dialects, who cannot live a decent meal a day, who do not have clothes to wear on their bodies, or when they are sick, they resort to helps for livelihood, or Mary, who the farmer basically has to get her crops to market through dubious middlemen who will milk her of every little penny and still go home with nothing after at least 18 hours of work a day. Basically, our work stands to create some kind of order in this value chain by connecting Mary to market solutions. And instead of getting the middleman monopoly game in Africa, which is not just played by Africans, but world powers at large, we create the opportunity for Mary's produce to be added, to be transformed. For example, plantains and vegetables which currently exist, to produce products like gluten-free flour, some of which we are selling already in the US, tropical market Chicago to be precise, among other things. And with these solutions, Mary is able to live a better life. Today, as we speak, Mary is benefiting from a housing loan, which she's paying over time. Mary's kids now are benefiting from educational systems and solutions. There might be adult learning, but it's a step in the right direction. And I believe my presence here in the fellowship has given me more grounds. And like Mandela would say, I am potentially and fundamentally an optimist. And that drive has kept us going. And I was speaking for the rest of my co-fellows that it's been great so far. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much for giving me this honor. My name is Vivian Anena. I am from Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, or you can say the source of the Nile. I'm so privileged to be seated in front here and to have an opportunity to interact with each and every one of you in this room. I am an enthusiast of growth and development. I am passionate about community development. And as I speak here, I am a Mandela Washington Fellow 2024, and I am working to streamline the peanut value addition chain in my country, Uganda. You would ask yourself, why peanuts? In my country, Uganda, about 80% of the population consumes peanuts in various ways. And you are aware that in the African population, about 80% of us consider agriculture as the main source of income, if in any case, of food. So in my country, Uganda, in as much as we consume peanuts, the peanut value addition chain is at a point of breaking. Why do I say this? Most of our peanut products or peanut grains are contaminated with aflatoxins. Research shows that about 62% of peanuts are contaminated with aflatoxin levels above regulatory limits. So what this does to the population is that it exposes us to diseases such as cancer, which are rampant and highly increasing. So we are left with a question of, shall we just ask the government what they're going to do for us, or shall we stand up and do something for ourselves? It is with this enthusiasm and energy that we, together with the team I work with, chose to make a difference. Hence, we are working to streamline the peanut value addition chain from the farmer to the table, with the hope that with our clear and very keen decisions in consumption and manufacturing, we can save our world and save ourselves from the diseases that we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll go to you, Gift.
Esther, I think you thought I stumbled there, but Esther Seals is a great writer who once said, the problem with a disability is that people see it before they see you. So when I move into a room, when I go into a room, people are quick to see my disability, but they don't know who is behind that disability. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gift Govere. I'm from Zimbabwe, the land of the Victoria Falls. I'm a program analyst with the United Nations Development Program. My work focuses on disability, gender, inclusion, addressing substance abuse, and all the different social ills that affect the marginalized groups. In Africa and broadly across the world, you realize that 16% of the population are persons with disabilities. But the percentage varies depending on the country. We know in Africa it's actually 16 to 20 for those countries that are further marginalized and still developing. But then you realize that those statistics don't tell you the challenges that are faced the people that face those challenges, people with disabilities, in terms of accessing employment, in terms of engaging in decision making, in terms of just being there in their daily lives. This is one thing that then drove me to the work that I'm currently doing. So I'm leading a number of programs and also working with the team around trying to promote disability, but not only disability, but also gender, because Africa is about 52% of its population being women. We are also looking at youth empowerment, because Africa is over 60% of people that are over 25 years of age. So these are some of the programs that I address, and this is who I am. Thank you.
Wow. Raisa?
Good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well. I'm Raisa Yao. I came from Cote d'Ivoire in West Africa. We are a French-speaking country, and we are also the land of hospitality. So I'm working at DigiFarm Entrepreneurial, DigiFarm like digital and women. In French, we say farm for women. So DigiFarm, digital and women. So 2 years ago, in the region of San Pedro in the southwest of Cote d'Ivoire, we met Awa, a woman entrepreneur, but also she is an employee in a company. She wanted to develop a company, but she doesn't know how to do because she don't have the basic requirement for developing a company, to well manage her finances, and also to well manage the HR, like all the employees she has. And also she doesn't know how much she made per month when she's selling a different product. She also don't know what is the product that works a lot. When you ask them, she can't really answer. So with Awa, through the problem she is going through, we decided to let her and also to help her to develop a company. And like Awa, we have many companies like her in Cote d'Ivoire where the women are looking for skills to develop their companies. But most of that, we have only 20 women that run big companies in our country, out of 430 companies that exist. That's why we decided to reduce this gap by reducing the gap of digital skills that we have between men and women, so also to address the gender equality issue. So through digital, we help the different women that we work with to acquire some computer skills and also to use the basic tools like the spreadsheet or Excel, and also HubSpot, some different tools just to manage their customer relationship management, and also to well understand their finances and to know exactly what they are doing as revenue per month, what is the product that people really want to buy, and what are the different products they have to drop off, not to put too much energy in it. And after 1 year, we allow to Awa to increase a revenue from $200 per month to $5,000 per month now, just through digital and also through some app that she download on a smartphone. So this is what I'm doing in my country with the different SMEs we are working with. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're very, very happy to have you here. So in the course of your introductions, you've talked about projects that you work on. I would like you to expand on those projects and tell us if there are stories that actually made you interested in these particular. I know that many of you have said that, but maybe you just expand a little bit more on what really generated the interest, what is the nature of the project, and how far you are in the project cycle, if I may say. Gift, can I start with you?
Thank you very much for that question. So I'll try and address it to the best of my ability. Yeah. So as indicated, I work on projects that cut across mainly gender, inclusion issues, and disability and youth. But I'll try and maybe focus on disability and just have it zero it down on one program. So mainly the thing that drove me was my passion and my experience as a person with a disability, because I faced certain discrimination and stereotypes when I was growing up, but that did not stop me from pushing and trying to achieve my goal. I saw education one as a goal to attain what I want to achieve. And to that effect, up to now, I'm still in school. I'm doing programs, but I'm actually studying for my PhD with the University of Pretoria. The PhD, again, is focusing on women with disabilities participating in leadership and decision-making process. So this is an area that I have been drawn to, yes, because of my experience, but I've also made it deliberate that I endeavor to get the adequate education that will help me, not only to help myself, but to help the other person with a disability in my community, to help the 16% to 20% of persons with disabilities in our communities in Africa, because they are still left behind. So you realize as part of our programs, we do a lot of research where you realize that, for example, in Zimbabwe, I think about less than 2% of persons with disabilities are formally employed. So that should tell you they have challenges in accessing socio-economic opportunities. That's one. Okay, sorry for that. So they have problems accessing socio-economic opportunities. And that's not the only area. Issues of access to justice, access to health services, and just engagement in decision-making in society, because now we say nothing about us without us. The global goals, your sustainable development goals are saying leave no one behind. But we have certain segments in society, like persons with disabilities, that are left behind. So this is why I do these programs that we do. The programs have managed to identify persons with disabilities, especially women with disabilities, empower them to be able to start their businesses through what we call the Generate Your Business Idea program. But we have also supported them socially, because you need to empower them to be able to stand in their community. Their voice and agency should be heard. So this is part of the work that I'm doing. I don't want to say we have achieved it, but I want to say it's a process, because you are addressing societal barriers, stereotypes that are there, that are engraved and deep-rooted. So for you to really achieve and address those, it takes time, because these are barriers that come with our culture. These are barriers that are instilled, that are deep-rooted. So for you to address them is not an overnight work, but this is work that we have to constantly do. And it's not only me. I think everyone in this room, if you look at their work, they have a certain element of inclusion that they have to address. This is the problem. It's a problem that drives us. It's a problem of exclusion. It's a problem that we identify a certain segment is left behind and we address. So, yeah, I will stop here and let my other colleagues engage. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you, Sunday. So, great. So Mary, whom I spoke of earlier, 46-year-old Mary is not a fictional character. I met 46-year-old Mary on a Sunday, early December 2011. I was driving out with friends. We're getting into the December spirit. By the way, it's a big thing in Africa. We take it very seriously. And we're going out for an evening party. And while driving out, we almost hit Mary. She was lost in thought, crossing the highway and seemingly looking for someone to take her life thereabout. And Mary, whom I spoke of having 3 kids, actually had 4 at the time. And what drove her into that mood? Mary's eldest son had just died, and he died from pesticide intoxication, as the doctor later confirmed. And the reasons Mary could not take Gilbert to the hospital on time and had to leave him deteriorated is because she never had the funds. And she had all the frustration. She had middlemen she was owing produce for, among other things. And when I got closer to Mary, I understood so many things that would later change my entire trajectory. Accidentally, I was really studying agriculture, as you have it, but it drove my drive to take it to another level. And like Gift, I'm equally a PhD candidate. But most interestingly, what I want you to take home is, outside the fact that Mary cannot farm because she does not have the resources, I spoke of the investment gap, there's also the problem of the middleman monopoly. There's also the problem of Mary not having technology. There's also the problem of Mary not knowing how to manage climate change, which I would say in every way we are the continent most affected by it. And Mary, who is a 46-year-old lady, has never been to a classroom, does not understand all of these dynamics. And as if that is not enough, you have theft issues among other things. So I began to, hey, this is not a problem we can address at a go. It's multi-problems affecting 70% of Cameroonians, because it will interest you to know that according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, 70% of Cameroonians, like across Africa, are involved into agriculture for livelihood sustenance. So Mary is representing over 70% of 30 million people living in Cameroon. As if that is not enough, we have 5 agroecological zones, and we call ourselves the agriculture in miniature, or the pride of Africa, because we grow everything you grow here, and we grow everything that grows across Africa. Yet the agricultural class is the most impoverished. And after a lot of studies, I began to understand that the value chain discontinuum is the biggest cause related to this. We have zero value addition, because what we produce for the stuffs that can leave the farm, we have neighboring countries and foreign countries come in, pick it up, add value, sell it to us at prices we cannot afford. That has encouraged the research my organization has been engaging in for almost 9 years now, and has tailored us into a firm that invests in bringing in the finance, which no one dares to do, because the banks will not have it. The banks will not see a farmer because we are not bankable. The banks will not fund farmer-based organizations because they understand nothing about financial systems and what have you. On the other way, even if you give them the finance, the USAID has invested over $2.2 billion in the fiscal year, according to statistics for 2022, on Africa alone. That is a lot of money, but what are the outputs? So you have farmer field school initiatives. We have partnered with GIZ of Germany to give adult learning curricula to this group of people to improve their skills in, first of all, basic economics, and to match up with the fast-changing lives. So principally our major solutions hinge on the area of looking for investors home and abroad, because some of our investors are people here who are interested in the growing markets in Africa and want to have a share in that cake. Their investments back home help our value chain solutions to move. And we can only do as much as the resources available can afford. That's why for over 30 million people and over 70% affected, we work only with 390 farmers. But these 390 farmers feed a market we have already assured in different countries, and through our work are able to get a decent livelihood, because the products they produce are not sold fresh, but value is added to them, and this now is able to feed, I would say, market demands across, especially in the diaspora, because the World Food Organization has given a new orientation to food insecurity. We're not just talking about inavailability of food today, we're talking about the unavailability of the food you want to eat. So how many Mexicans in the US go to the shop and find what they want? How many Africans go to the shop and find what they want? That's what we're all about. And understanding this problem, our organization tries to solve people like Mary's crisis and kind of contribute to solving the diaspora and the nations or Africans all over the world in wherever they exist. And at the same time, these investors, home and abroad, are able to make revenue from the buzzing economic potentials we have in Cameroon. We become the bankers, or I would say the guarantors for these farmers, through the farmer field school partnerships we are driving, through distribution partnerships we are driving with the like of Carrefour, with the like of Tropical Market, among other, I would say, international distribution brands. That is a little bit of what we do, and I hope with your help we will continue to create the change across Cameroon and Africa. Thank you.
Considering your age, that's not a little bit to me. Raisa?
Yes. Okay. So when we arrived for the first time, like 2 years ago in San Pedro to start the activity, the Farm Entrepreneur, we met a lot of women that could not really manage the companies. And also like the same that I talked about last time.
Try this and see if it works.
So when we arrived, it's okay.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Hello? Yes. So when we arrived, we met a lot of women who cannot really manage the companies. And most of the time, they use the money that the business is producing, so their revenue, to help their families, to carry about the children, their husband sometimes, because it is a region where the women are really in the workforce, they work a lot, and sometimes the men are kind of like relying on them. But unfortunately, for taking a decision, they also rely on the men because they are married. So they don't really know that they should, in terms of finance management, they have to make a distinction of the salary, the revenue of the company, the wage of the different employees that they have, and also how to make some savings to reinvest in the company. So most of the time, they are needing some additional investment, but the different microfinances that we can find, or also the bank, are not investing in small and medium-sized enterprises. So most of the time they are just in a kind of loop because the company is not really growing. But through the simple digital tools, for example, how to communicate on Facebook, how to make some ads on Facebook, how to manage the different client community on WhatsApp, and also how to take feedback from clients, because sometimes some clients buy a product, they are not satisfied about the service or the product they bought, but they have no feedback from the client, and they just stop buying. And they don't know where is the client, why he's not taking any product anymore, but he's still in the need. So we just, the simple of WhatsApp business, they now communicate with the different clients they have, and they can improve their product. So they could be in improving methods instead of just proposing to the client what they think that the client really needs. So, and also we partner with some local organization and also the USADF just to train these women to submit some proposal and get some additional fund to fund their businesses. So now they are able to have fund from a bank we signed with, so it is one of our partner. And also we have a grant opportunity for these women, and we have 11 women from the first cohort that we trained that they will receive $5,000 to grow their business. So they will be at another scale of the business. And also we train in our curriculum around 100 women officially, but we also train the adults one because we are talking about digital. For using digital, you have to learn first how to write, learn, before talking about how to use a smartphone or a computer, for example. So we train like up to 1,000 people just to initiate them to the concept of digital. What does it mean to use Facebook, for example, how you can communicate on your branding, personal branding, and also the branding of your company. So it is 1,000 people that we impacted indirectly through a workshop and also free open days. But for the women that we really deeply impact about the small and medium-sized company, it is about 100 women. And we are also working with the local organizations to allow them to participate to some fairs, for example, to sell the product to a wide public. So it is really a journey that they really appreciated because it is like a second chance that they got to have more money, more clients, and also have a better overview of the company and how they can have a good vision for their company, because most of the time they just start because they need money, not because they have a vision to make this company stand for a long time, like maybe 15 years, 50 years, or 100 years. They are not thinking about that. And most of the time, when they are sick, for example, or the children are adults, they don't give it like a legacy, because when they died, the company just stopped. Even if it was successful in a certain period in their life, the company just fall because they don't have any system that exists to allow the company to really grow. So now we have 100 women that are able to have this company as a legacy for their children and also to employ more people. So that's it.
Okay. How many of us in the room have gone through life and while you were growing up, you've dreamt of being someone or something? Right? So I'm not alone. So growing up, I've always wanted to be, I had a dream of becoming an accountant, specifically to work in a bank. Why? Because I loved how bankers dressed up. I loved everything about them. So for some reason, it informed my decisions going through school. So I grew up from a family that allowed me to make all my decisions. So whenever I said I wanted to do this subject, they would encourage me to go through it. So when I reached my later years of high school, that was in my country, that's like the decision point where you pick your majors that are going to enable you to advance to like a degree and you progress. So my majors were math, economics, and geography, simply because I wanted to be an accountant. So the math and economics would help me go through it. Luckily, I went through university and I was able to get my accounting degree. And to differ from all the others, I was lucky to get a job immediately after I completed school. But in the same year, God blessed me and I got married around that same time. And I had a baby. So this was so many changes happening in a space of a year. What I didn't prepare for, however, was that managing career and a child would be two different things. So it hit me that, I couldn't manage an 8 to 5 p.m. job and at the same time take care of a toddler. Right? So, yeah, it was at that point that I quit employment and I decided to take care of my girl because in my country, childcare is quite expensive. You either have the money to pay for the good quality childcare or risk having your child in the hands of someone who isn't really qualified, but they can stay with them. I was not willing to take that risk. I decided I would take care of my child. So in amidst all the confusion of what am I going to do with my career? I want to be an accountant. What is happening? Is when I settled down and actually started seeing everything that was happening in my community. So I remembered that actually my deepest desire is to help people, is to develop, to encourage growth, to all these things came back to me because for a moment it felt like there was so much going on around me and now I had the time to sit and concentrate on my sphere of influence. So in that process was when I noticed we have so many problems in this community, but why isn't anyone doing anything about it? So at the time of winning my child, that was around 6 to 1 year. So I'm now thinking of what kind of foods to give her. And it so happens in my country still, peanuts are a common source of protein, so they encourage us to give it to children so much. So that was when I started paying so much attention to what am I giving this child. And I noticed so many things. The hygiene of the processing facilities were alarming. The taste of the food was, and in my head I'm like, have we been consuming this? So, because I was now keen on what I was going to give to my child. So because I'm from a background that when you come from the northern part or eastern part of Uganda, growing peanuts is a talent, processing peanut products is another. So all throughout school, these are things we leverage on because we carry these peanut products as supplements to our boarding schools. So I had the skill with me. I decided making these products for my family. And before I knew it, when I would make and share with a few friends and neighbors around, everyone would appreciate it. And they're like, oh my God, this is so nice. How nice or why is it nice? They will tell you the color is consistent, the taste is consistent. There's something with it. When I concentrated to really pay attention to what I was doing, I did a lot of reading, and I actually noticed that what disturbs us or why people buy peanuts and never go back to a particular shop is because they test something that does not taste right, but they do not know it's aflatoxins. And to my surprise, aflatoxins, by the time you test that something has changed in taste, it's already too bad. So you can imagine how much of these contaminations we had already consumed before. Furthermore, research indicates that The increasing cases of cancer in Uganda, and possibly some of these are tied to the increasing aflatoxin levels in the foods we consume. So the question then was, what are we going to do about it? So it was from that background that I said, you know what, we can do something about it. Together with a team of 4, we came up with Neni Peanuts Limited, and we chose to, first of all, focus on peanuts because of the huge consumption rates it has in my country, and because if we sensitize people about this aflatoxin, if we sensitize the farmers and ensure that the grains that come from them and those grains that later come into our processing facilities are of better, high quality, maybe we shall have a difference on the products we consume. If we pay attention to the hygiene that we offer while carrying out these processing activities, maybe we shall have better products. And maybe at the end of the day, we shall have fewer effects of aflatoxins in our lives. So for me, that was the driving force. How do we transform the lives of people? And you gotta do something to make our life better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm always blown away by the quality of people who come for the Mandela Fellowship. The Mandela Fellowship, it's supposed that is to encourage, build, and kind of look at emerging leaders. And from the things you have said, perfectly, you guys are emerging leaders in our continent. What does the Mandela Fellowship mean to you in the context of the life of Nelson Mandela as emerging leaders?
To me, it means a lot of things. I started my presentation by quoting Mandela in one of his shortest quotes that has guided my leadership journey so far, when he says, "I am fundamentally an optimist." These words have guided my journey so far, because for the Africans in the room, you would understand that leadership in the context of our continent is an uphill task. Mandela is the biggest representation of struggle, of resilience in leadership. So to me, this fellowship is an opportunity I will treasure for the rest of my days. I'll give you another quote that has guided me so far from the famous leadership writer, John Maxwell. And several US presidents have used that quote. And he says, everything rises and falls with leadership. So to me, it is the way forward. Sitting in front of you are super talented. I am still in awe why I was chosen as a panelist by my colleagues, because when I got here, I understood that I'm doing work, but others are doing better, if I should say. We are a team of 24 from 21 countries doing amazingly impossible things within our different countries. And the biggest humbling factor for me is meeting youths like myself who have challenged the narrative. I have a lot of family based in the US, so the way out after my master's degree was see the possibility to serve in some other developed nation. And I've always been the psychopath so far for choosing otherwise. And it was very interesting to see so many youths taking this same path in being what society will call psychic, to contribute like Mandela to the growth of their different countries from so many industries. I will tell you, I have been humbled so far with the wealth of knowledge I have exchanged. The program put together by Tippie Institute of Business in itself is something we cannot describe here enough. But I would like to build a lot on what the Mandela Washington Fellowship is all about, which is bringing Africans, first of all, together for their common good, and exchanging with a great nation like the US, which is so advanced, for exchange of knowledge. And that is what it has been for me. It has not just been exchange of knowledge. stereotypes have been broken. You know, when you watch America from the eye of Tom Cruise or from the eyes of The Rock or all your famous stars, the narrative, trust me, is not what I have seen. There's also the Iowa nice. We have understood what it means to be nice. We've understood what it means to be hospitable. And to me, as a community leader, it's all of what I want to take back home. We need to transcend from religion to humanity as a people. That is what is done for me. As for my country, of course, it's so much. There is the exchange of knowledge. There's the diplomacy aspect of it, which is so overwhelming. We received, I would say, almost presidential send-offs, and we'll be getting almost presidential receptions. Just to tell you how much this means to the people and the government of Cameroon. And I can go on, but I'll end at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. If you remember during the application processes, there was a question that said, I don't know if we answered the same questions, but there was a question that said, how do you hope to leave, I've paraphrased it, the Mandela legacy in your community? It was something like that. So when I was answering that question, I had two things in my mind. I would love to lead and transform a life. That was like the one thing I had in my mind. And when applying for the fellowship, looking at Mandela as an example is something you would not underlook. Because literally, this is a man who led a whole nation to freedom, right? But he was an individual, and he was able to encourage a whole number of people to follow him. So my question then was, how am I going to use this fellowship to benefit my community? So that was it. And if I'm to remember correctly, it was all about, I need the exposure, I need world-class training, and most importantly, I will be able to mentor people when I get this knowledge. So when I was finally selected and I came to Iowa, I was mesmerized by the number of Africans that I met here. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God. So we are all doing this great work wherever we are, right? So if that was my answer, I could only imagine what every other person put in that application later. Because there is a reason as to why we all ended up in this particular place. So for me, this fellowship in relation to Nelson Mandela is a testament to how much great work we can do as individuals. The power of wanting to make a difference first with yourself lightens up each. You know what that saying that says when you light up a candle, you can light up so many other candles in the room? For me, that is it. Because if you have this knowledge, the number of people you are going to impact back home, you cannot count. And this is what this training has done for us. We have got the global exposure that when you look at the problems we have back home, you are able to put them in a global perspective and look at the options of what best we can do. It is true we cannot save everyone, but we can start with a few that are around us, and you'll be amazed by how much impact you have. So for me, that was the enlightenment I got, because each one of us is doing something different. It's either in education or in tourism or in agriculture, or like it's quite a number of things, but in our various capacities, we are impacting our life. So if we go ahead and light those candles all round around, the ripple effect is amazing. That's what the light, that's what it brought to me.
I think my two colleagues have exhausted the points, but being someone from Southern Africa and a neighbor to South Africa, we had a lot to learn about Mandela. And I always remember a number of quotes, but one quote that always resonates with me is, it doesn't matter how many times you have fallen, but how many times you have risen from those falls. I always think it's as youths, as people that are trying to make it in our different spaces that we are working in, we are bound to face a number of challenges. We are bound to face a number of barriers that inhibit achieving the vision that we have. But that shouldn't stop us, and that should keep us moving. So when we got here and listening to the different stories in the room, you have people that had to start a social enterprise, and it had to fail. But they did not stop. They had to go back to the drawing board, and they came back stronger. You had people that have different social experiences that they have faced, but that did not stop them. That actually perpetuated them and driven them to have the zeal and the zest to keep on moving. So I felt, okay, here I'm in a space. I'm in a space where I can learn. Because for me, Mandela was a servant leadership. He was a hero in human rights space. He was a hero in the social justice space. But more importantly, he was a hero in addressing institutional discrimination and stereotype, which was brought by the apartheid era. So all that, and also looking at the people in the room, it gave me a renewed hope, a renewed sense of hope to say, this is the Africa that we are looking for. Because we constantly say Africa is youthful. Africa is the fastest growing continent. But what does it mean for us as youths? That's the conversation that we never have. What does it mean where a greater percentage of us as youths are not employed? Right? But if you speak to each and everyone in the room, we have different solutions that we are providing. Those are the solutions that can drive us to the Africa we want. Vision 2063, the African agenda. For us to achieve that, we need each and every head that is in the room, because we are bringing our different skills, our different experiences, and also we are contributing towards the development we want. So for me, Mandela, and also tying it with the fellowship, I think I've been able to learn. But I've also had an opportunity to renew my hope in the Africa that we want, which is already in a blueprint, which is already in a document. But we need to work together to achieve that. Thank you.
So in 2017, I was in the center of Côte d'Ivoire, my country, in one of the prestigious schools that we can find in our country. And I was studying logistics and transportation, and in my last year of master's degree. And I got this opportunity with two of my friends to apply for a project. The name was Pappajohn Social, like social project, just to apply, implement a project into 1 month, and after have a grant of $2,000 and 3 computers for each of us. So that's why I started to apply for this project. But while doing this project, it was to produce biofertilizer. So we have to take the different waste from food, etc., to produce the biofertilizer. And when we gave the different trash to the women that ran restaurants, and also the different men, like women, everybody, just to collect the trash, when I saw the joy that was on their face, I realized that it is not only for me that I should do this project by the end of the day, but I should also think about them. And also the quote of Nelson Mandela that said that education is the weapon that we can use to develop a country and also the world, lead me through this journey to start entrepreneurship, even if it is not my own organization, but to help people to achieve the goal. And also the second one is Ubuntu. I am because you are. So this one also led me to help people, because even if it is a small thing that I know, it could help a community, because just an information on how to sell through your smartphone, how to start a business from your idea, how you can help youth people to have some models, not to jump into drug and other social problems that we can make in the world, but to think big, even if they are not from a rich family or from a rich background, they could dream also at the turn. So this is how Nelson Mandela really inspired me as a leader, and also how I started this journey to help people to achieve their goal. And now I'm really happy because even today I'm working with women. Tomorrow I can work with youth. The day after I can work with men. But at the end of the day, the objective is really to help these people to develop themselves, to develop their companies, to develop their community, and also share what they learn from us and to share it with the community. So this is what I'm really learning from Mandela. And also, by coming here, it was really an opportunity for me because I worked in Benin, in West Africa, so for 6 months. I didn't meet Tatiana, that is also working with SMEs in the country. I went to Senegal twice in 2019 and 2022. I didn't meet Aja, who is working in healthcare project like producing granola to help people with diabetes and other diseases to eat healthier. I didn't meet Fatima when I went for a weekend in Accra, in Ghana. She's working with farmers. Even if I was planning to go to Kenya, I wasn't able to meet Esther. Even if I went to Dar es Salaam for a weekend or for a week to visit the country or the city, I would not be able to meet Sam, for example. Even in Zimbabwe, I can't meet gifts. So it is only in Mandela that I can meet all these leaders that are impacting their communities. I am also on Facebook. I am on LinkedIn. I didn't know that Iowa, we have the University of Iowa that is top ranked in the world, United States, and are really doing a good job in terms of business. It is only through the program Mandela Washington Fellowship I know that Iowa have such university that are developing leaders and help them to grow into the entrepreneurship journey and also into the organization. So Mandela is just one opportunity for me to develop your personal like your career, and also to develop your network through all the amazing people we have in this room and also in the city, the kind people, and also to learn from the system that you are. You have to, like the system, well-organized companies, well-organized city, no pollution, and also the recycling activity that you have for every little thing that you use, like the bottles, the cans, etc. So that is, for me, Mandela, it is really an impactful program. Thank you.
I had one more question for them, but I will not ask any more questions because I know that there are people itching to ask you questions. Mandela once said a fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world a better place we so passionately dreamt of. I think that is what all of you are doing together with your colleagues. I'm going to open room for questions now. And if you have a question, you raise your hand, I would go to you, I'll give you the microphone. And if you ask the question, sometimes there are other members of the fellowship who are here. And if you have anything to contribute, please, you're free to also contribute to those. So questions, please. Be brief with your questions so that we can go through many more people.
Yeah, my name is Clinton. I'm originally from Democratic Republic of Congo, the biggest country, rich country in Africa. It's not like a question, but it's a motivation. You did like a great job. I'm so proud of you all. This is what we want for Africa. Everything happened for a reason, and you know the reason you are here. I'm talking about Africa. You know how Africa are now, but you leaders for Mandela Fellowship, you are the one who will bring change. How the change will happen? Don't like after this program, you guys disappear. You have to thinking about create something we united as like a African young leader who have a passion to make a changement for Africa. I am a community organizer like you guys here in Iowa City for almost 10 years. I make a change, help the African community to change. And I am ambassador for all African country for one big group. I cannot tell the name. We provide money for the to help the African Young Leader Project to grow. Keep pushing and no stop. Africa will change.
Thank you so much, Clinton. Questions, please. Okay. Yeah, so Mandela Fellows. The rest. Yeah, okay, one table at a time. I think that we have quite a number here except Brad. So, can you stand or introduce yourself and tell us what country you're from and briefly?
Hi everyone, my name is Fernando dos Santos. I'm from Angola.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tertu Ileka. I am from Namibia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hernani Oliveira, and I'm from the Group of Island of Cape Verde.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tatiana Duba from the Republic of Benin. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andela Mlandu from South Africa.
Hi, everyone. I'm a 32-year-old farmer from Sierra Leone.
Evelyn, my name is Isaac Red Jr. I'm from Liberia.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mariam Abbas from Nigeria.
Hello, good evening. I'm Esther Nyekirin Duta from the Republic of Kenya. Thank you for having us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Elena Pili from Malawi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Aja Budikante. I'm from Senegal.
Aja was supposed to be on the panel, but she couldn't make it. She's not feeling very well. I think you're one of them.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Benjamin. I'm from Nigeria. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gordon Victor from Uganda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chloe from Madagascar.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rodas Seme, and I am from Ethiopia.
Good evening. I am Sam from Tanzania.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kulele Mokhitli from the Mountain Kingdom of Lesotho. I would like to say today is my king's birthday, so I'm representing the Mountain Kingdom. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fatima Isaka. I'm from Ghana. Just to add about the impacts of the Mandela Washington Fellowship, what I'm wearing is a traditional costume worn in the northern part of Ghana, and this is a product of a fellow. We only use it for festivals, but she has been able to make it in a fashionable way. You can wear this for dinners, corporate events, and it comes in different styles and all that. So I'm proud to be here today, and then this is one of the impacts of the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I have a renewed sense of purpose, encouragement, and confidence. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tapamane, and I'm from Botswana.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tippie Mzingaye Spanda. I'm from the city of Kings and Queens, Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll still go back to questions. I mean, if we don't have questions, actually, yeah. Okay, so what is the application process for coming? What is the application process for being a Mandela Fellow? Yes.
Yeah, so applications are opened. I don't know, for my country, it was opened around November, and you apply online. There's a form. It's so long and requires a lot. Yes. So the form profiles you from where you were born, your country, your education, your generation. It requires a lot of information. So you give all that information, and Vivian mentioned there are questions. Why are you applying for the Mandela Washington Fellowship? What are your goals? What do you seek to achieve? And when you come back after the fellowship, what impact are you going to do in your country? So you fill that form. And this year we had over 50,000 plus applications. Yes. And you are sitting with 24 out of 700, which have been selected from Africa. Please, let's give ourselves some. Yes. Yeah. So after this online application, my embassy told me it was read by people. I don't know if there are some here, but no machine reads it. People go through the application, and it's a lot. And they read it, and in Ghana, they cut it down to 650, and we had readings again. And out of the 650, 150 were selected. And that was when we received emails. Congratulations, you've been selected for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Then you are called again for an interview. It was quite intensive for me. Yes. And you don't just go there and it's, what's your name? Then you answer no. You have deep conversations. They want to know what you seek to achieve. That is so important to them. What are you going to do? What impact are you going to make when you come back? And we just graduated from venture school, which was very intensive but educative and insightful for us. And today I'm proud of what we did at the venture school with our instructors here. That was my first time actually asking myself, so the product I'm offering to my customer, do they really need this? Do they want that? Yes. And it has given us a whole different perspective. I hear others saying, my colleague here, Sepo, she wasn't into farming. She was supporting, but now she wants to go into the cultivation herself. Yes, so it was after that final fiscal interview that we were told we were selected. And aside that, to even get your visa, you pass through the normal process. There isn't anything like, okay, you've been selected for Mandela Washington Fellowship, so that's it. No. We were screened once again before. Today we are here with you. So it was quite intensive and rigorous.
I'm sure that reflects in the quality of people we have seen here, and definitely we're very proud of all of you. Yes.
I thought I'd ask a quick question. So this is my second year that I've had the privilege of meeting all of you, and every year it's just really awe-inspiring. So thank you for being here. My question is, if a few of you could speak to maybe a couple of moments that you've had in your journey here that you think were impactful to you, that maybe you were either surprised by or you were delighted by, or just something that you'll take home and remember for a long time.
Yeah.
before I came, we are always told that the systems in the West work. And you're always skeptical. There's nowhere that systems truly are like oiled machines. And then I happened to be selected to volunteer at Table to Table. And
yeah, it's working.
So I had an opportunity to volunteer at Table to Table, and I got to ask them some few questions. For instance, most of their food is donated by grocery stores. And the grocery stores pay the suppliers of the food beforehand. In my country, you stay for 6 weeks to 2 months before you see your money. And that's why they're also able to give the wasted food. That day alone, we were 4 people. We collected over 1,600 kgs of food. I don't know how much that is in pounds. How much is it in pounds? We use kgs, not pounds, sorry. That's like maybe 2,000 pounds in a single day. This is food that would have been wasted. In my country, this is food that goes to waste. And we are very, very food insecure. So these are some of the things that have really inspired me. And I have seen volunteerism and the willingness of people to give from an entirely different perspective. So that's one of the things that really touched my heart. Knowing that as much as we might claim, maybe you might see from your perspective, maybe your government is not as oiled. But for me, I'm like, wow, even if we could get us a percentage, not even much, 20% of our systems working, it would be life-changing for my own people back in Kenya. So, yeah.
Someone else?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ezai Toinga, and sorry I came late. But when I heard the name of Mandela, I see social justice, I see development, and empowerment. So I would like to know what are the type of strategies that you have to inspire diaspora to continue with the work of Mandela in Africa. And also, if you have done some, I will be very happy to learn about it. So this is the question that I have. And also, I would like to quickly let you know that this gentleman invented electricity based on water, sand, and the air. And this is something that probably in the coming years is going to change the world. And probably in Africa, the cost of electricity, maybe people that do not have access to electricity, they may be able to have that. And his electricity is without a carbon, zero carbon emission. So thank you.
So the question is, what are you going to do to encourage diasporans to keep up with the legacy of Nelson Mandela?
I just wanted to add my voice before other fellows in the hall might want to add. But like I said, we are bridging agricultural investment gap and struggling to create order in the value chain disorder we see across our value chain systems. And I will not take us back to all the things I said, but generally, 60 to 70% of those who cover agricultural investments in the solutions we have been driving in Africa are generally in the diaspora. For so many reasons. They do not only make dividends at the end of the year on their investment, but the work we do provides them food security, especially in the definition of the food they want to see in the shelves they have in the different countries across Europe, America, and all the continents outside Africa. And through this diaspora, we have a good number of mixed ethnicities and races investing back in us who never knew about our work. Yes, through Venture School, we have learned a lot about marketing, but I will tell you candidly, a fellow actually asked me, how do you market your business? And the quick answer I gave my colleague was, we run a B2B model. But the truth is, for agri-investment, our platforms are there to verify. I have never put up an advertisement for investment. It is generally word of mouth. Someone we have served, he has never been to Cameroon, he has made an investment, he's okay with the payment on dividends, he makes his investments, lands are bought, farmers are empowered, systems are running. At the end of the year, he gets his revenue, and because that is consistent, he gets other people to invest back. So that is something the diaspora has been doing, because agricultural capital, like I said, is a nightmare with very few people willing to take the work with us. So there's a lot outside investment, especially from the diaspora, that is happening. You're talking about our certifications. Our products got FDA clearance into the distributions, especially across some of these countries, to the diaspora. So there's more than a lot, because in our today's world, quality control has taken over. And the diaspora has a very serious role to play, not just in seeing our solutions go global, but also in seeing that they have the necessary resources to take the necessary steps, because we can only do as much as the resources at our disposal can permit. I'll allow other fellows to take it away. Thank you.
Anyone else who wants to? Yes, Michael. Go to Michael and then come back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Of course, there is space for people in the diaspora. And I believe you are hearing all the wonderful things we are doing back home. It should inspire any Africans in diasporas to join hands with us and drive this change. If you go through all our bios, you can see all the wonderful works we are doing. Now, as somebody in the diaspora, you can adopt any of these projects and support them. Take, for instance, I teach people in rural villages who do not have access to basic infrastructure, basic computer skills. Sometimes we group these people because of their geographical locations and the poverty level they are experiencing. They can't afford this training. As somebody in the diaspora, you can look at that space and say, okay, let me sponsor 5 persons, 10 persons, 3 persons. In only 2 ways, you are contributing to this change. Look at these faces of young African leaders. Do it incredibly well. We cannot do it alone. You can adopt or look into any of these projects, collaborate with us, and drive these changes. Thank you very much for that question.
Okay, good evening once again. I've met a lot of Africans here, and some from my country, Nigeria. I came from the northern part of Nigeria, where I know maybe the news always say a lot about us. Example, insurgency, Boko Haram, and all of that. When they see me, they'll be like, are you okay? Are you sure you're fine? Yes, we are fine. We go to school, we go to work, businesses are going very well, except for some areas where there is these problems, but then still everything is going fine. So I want to encourage people in the diaspora to know that we are doing well back there. There are a lot of narratives about us, but as Michael said, we should join hands to invest back home. I met someone today in the School of Public Health. He is running a project, a research on the mental health of families of people that have migrated out of Africa. It is actually affecting their families in one way or the other. So it is a big issue. I want to encourage our Africans outside Africa to look back home. A lot of them are asking me, where are you going back? Where are you going back? We have this discussion with Michael. I said, I'm doing well. I am an average person. If you look at me in Africa, I'm doing well. I go to school, my family go to school, my mother, my father, like we have it. So it is good there. I was telling them, I have a lot of problems to solve back home. I do not see my place here. I don't have a place here because it's not my home. I have all of us here, we have bunch of problems to go and support. So join hands with us to support and build the Africa we are dreaming of. Thank you.
We diasporans are in trouble.
Good evening once more. So basically, you must have heard this brilliant comments from my colleagues, but the question as to how, it's what I want to make simple and clear. Demi, can you please come forward, sir? Yes, yes, sir. Can we please give him a round of applause? So Demi and his team has done extremely well for us. We had a pitch competition of which many of you would think that was the end of we actually showcasing how brilliant our ideas were. But he has gone further with his team in making sure that he will be having a one-on-one session with each and every one of us. I personally have followed several other programs that young people do come to the United States for. But here are 24 of us, so passionate and eager to go back to their countries and create this impact. So if you are here thinking of what to do and how to do it, meet Dimi. He will tell you the answer.
Question? Yeah. Oh. How dare I think you would not ask a question?
Hey, good evening. It's just like such a wonderful time to be with you here. We're so proud of the Mandela Fellows and this thing, and it has always been amazing to meet up with those young leaders coming from Africa. My question would be about, indeed, a lot of this, and in order for it to just like rechange our future in Africa, it must have something to do with like governance, or maybe also something to do with other sectors like the non-profit sector, maybe the private sector. I would like to hear what I know that you're coming from just like very different states and stuff, but if there are any common things that you can point as can really push forward with this momentum into the future that we all hope for in terms of supporting these things.
So how, if I get it right, how do you intend, as people who have come here together, because it's all about leadership and it's about governance, it's about what plans do you have as a people to be able to pull each other together and get things going?
Oh, thank you for that question. There is no simpler way to answer this question, but as individuals from different countries and having came here in the United States together, this has created a bond, and it's not just the 24 of us, but it's the 700 that are going to meet up in Washington, D.C. So this is like a create partnership for the progression of Africa. So if we stand together as fellows of 2024, we'll be able to have a bigger voice in the continent. We have fellows who came before us. There will be fellows after us. So it is very important that we keep the spirit of oneness that will help us shape our continent. Thank you.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Sunday. I'm very, very happy today to see smart people here. You are the best, I think. And anytime I try to think of a question, and I thought I had a question, I find the four guys there have already answered that. Another guy has answered that. And that tells me you are brilliant people, and you've shown us a good image and signal to the rest of the world that we are always struggling, but we have vision and the capacities. I just have one question. This is on the question of Gen Z, and this is because I'm from Kenya. And is there something that we can learn from you We know the people in Kenya, they learn from other parts of Africa too. What power and the capacities you have that is hidden, that we have discounted over time? Is there something that we can learn from you that we can use here? There are very many Africans in here, about 4,600 in Iowa City. But we struggle with a lot of things. To tell you the truth, Sandy is one of our leaders on that. Is there something we can learn that we seem to be missing? Thank you very much.
Actually, that was going to be my last question. There are young people here, there are parents here, there are grandparents here. There are those of us who are African diasporans and, like Amos rightly said, struggling, especially with the youth, for many things. My last question for you was going to be what he actually said. Is there any advice you would give the grandparents and parents here to go and tell the young people about this Mandela Fellowship, of things that you have actually observed? Because it seems like you're saying all the good things. What advice do you have outside the good things? Outside Iowa nice. Someone here? Yeah.
Thank you for your question. I'm from Tanzania, so as your neighbor, allow me to pull some lessons from the Gen Z in Kenya. Something that is very clear that deliver the change that they have been able to in such a short period of time is they have a very clarity concern for accountability. They are young, but because of access to technology, they get to know a lot, and then they call their leadership to accountability. This is what you said you're going to do. You have not done it. Why? And you cannot politic yourself around that because they are calling people to accountability. And this is something that even we as the rest of African nations need to have in our nations, because the high level of corruption, high level of poverty, part of it is because the level of accountability there is low. And I love that the young generation is calling the adults to that level of accountability. So for a grandparent, a parent who is in here, tell your grandchildren that they too can lead, even if they're not in a position of power. Because that is what the Gen Z in Kenya are teaching us, that you don't have to have the title that is on your desk that says the President of the Republic of Kenya to change Kenya. You can still be a citizen, but there's something that you can do if you do your duty, your moral duty, your civic duty, and anything that you have as a responsible citizen. And that is something that I think every young man, young woman, whether they're in America, whether they're diaspora, whether they're back home in Africa, that they can do. Thank you.
It's just getting better, but we have to. I'm sorry, we have to close the session. I would like to thank our panelists. Please, can we give them a round of applause again? And can we also clap for all the other fellows who are here? And Dimi, you deserve a clap. It's amazing how you have been able to run this program over the years, and we have many more years to see of this program. So if you have enjoyed this free program, the refreshment provided, or the opportunity to connect around important international topics with in-person and virtual experts, please consider financially supporting our mission to help Iowans better understand international issues and foster global engagement. I want to say thank you to members of our community who have been supporting us, and thank you so much for your enduring support. This was Iowa City Foreign Relations Council's second program for the summer lineup. Our next program would be at the Film Scene on Sunday, August 11th at 3:30 p.m. It's going to be a very, very exciting documentary on travel. We will feature an exciting film screening of the documentary, The Last Tourist, as well as a 30-minute discussion and question and answer afterwards with award-winning speaker, facilitator, educator, Anu Taramath. If you are interested in international travel and what it means to be ethical and responsible traveler in today's world, then this program is for you. I think of, sorry, what's your name again? Immediately I saw this title. Yeah. Yes. He is into tourism, so you can talk with him afterwards. Thank you again for joining us today. Sign up for our monthly newsletter and follow us on social media to learn more about upcoming events. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.